Recently, the U.S. Air Force rebuilt a unit to simulate the Chinese J-20 stealth fighter, commonly known as an aggressor unit, to train the U.S. pilots. The 65th Aggressor Squadron was officially reorganized at Nellis Air Force Base, Nevada. At the ceremony, the F-35A fighters were revealed with split camouflage similar to that used by the Chinese J-20 fighter. Interestingly, at the end of the Cold War, the U.S. aggressor units once were equipped with the Chinese-made MiG-21, the J-7 fighter, purchased from China through official channels. The revived Aggressor Squadron will focus on fifth-generation fighters that simulate the J-20, according to an Air Force press release. Brandon Nauta, commander of the 65th Squadron, is a distinctly Asian pilot. Mark Kelly, commander of Air Combat Command, said, "The 65th Aggressor Squadron will focus on mimicking China." The U.S. Red Flag air combat exercise already has some F-35A fighters performed a simulated J-20 fighter force. It is common practice of American military by simulating opponents and using camouflage similar to that of the enemy's aircraft. The squadron, which had been equipped with F-15C fighters until it was temporarily disbanded in 2014 due to lack of funding, has become the U.S. Air Force's first aggressor to be equipped with stealth fighters. Military experts believe that F-35A and J-20 differ greatly in size, weight, aerodynamic shape and flight performance, but the U.S. cannot afford using the F-22 to simulate the J-20 due to low number of the F-22 in service. The J-20 is a heavy stealth fighter, while the F-35A is medium-sized. It is also reported that this aggressor unit has 12 F-35 fighters, all of them are early production models, and are specifically used for evaluation. These F-35 fighters might have problems simulating the J-20, as they themselves are only flying demonstrators or technology verification platforms, but this is the best available jets the aggressor unit can get for now. Many netizens speculated that the future flight instructors of the 65th Squadron might also need Chinese training courses. It appears the Chinese military has many innovative and unique ideas that the U.S. military cannot simulate properly now. Previously, the U.S. Air Force and Navy have plenty of fighters at the same level as the opponent, such as using the F-15 to simulate the Su-27 fighters. In March, General Wilsbach, commander of the U.S. Pacific Air Forces, said in a video conversation that when the F-35 encountered the J-20 over the East China Sea, he was impressed not only by the stealth capability of the J-20 and the professional flight maneuverings of the pilots, but also by the combined force of the J-20 and the Chinese KJ-500 early warning aircraft. Mr. Wilsbach said he was interested in studying techniques and tactics to crack the combination. Not surprisingly, the U.S. military has gone to great lengths to restore its aggressor unit to match the Chinese capability. Currently, the U.S. Air Force has 3 aggressor squadrons, the 64th, 65th and 18th Squadrons, whose main mission is to simulate the high-end adversaries that can be encountered in various types of combat. The aggressor units of the U.S. Air Force adopted the practice of full Soviet military during the Cold War. All the fighter jets were dressed in Soviet Air Force scheme, the barracks were decorated with Soviet flags and slogans, and the flight instructors were required to speak Russian proficiently. Most importantly, the units were managed as close as how Soviets ran their squadrons. The same thing would be happening to today's Chinese aggressor units. Overall, the aggressor units in the U.S. military have been proven to be very effective. The reason the U.S. created these units is based on lesson learned in real combat. During the Vietnam War, the F-4 Phantom II, the main fighter of the U.S. Air Force and Naval Aviation Forces, failed repeatedly when fighting the older Soviet MiG-17 and MiG-21 jets. This proves even if pilots are flying fighters that are a whole generation newer, you still need exceptional skills to defeat the older Soviet and Chinese fighters. In this situation, the U.S. Navy and Air Force began to reflect on the investigation. After a detailed investigation, they believe that in addition to the F-4's obvious disadvantages in a few areas, the failure of the battle is also largely related to the lack of high-intensity combat training for the U.S. pilots at the time. In this context, the United States Navy and Air Force started to create a number of aggressor units. The U.S. Air Force calls it a fighter weapon squadron, and the U.S. Naval Air Force gives the unit a world-famous name, the Top Gun. Now things are very different comparing with the Cold War days. The Chinese J-20 stealth fighter is very hard to simulate due to its technical advantages. Also, it is worth noting the Chinese Air Force already has some J-20 fighters acting as aggressors in its fleet. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked this video, please subscribe, share and comment. It will really help us developing this channel and bring you more videos about Chinese military news. Thank you.